Jefferson Elementary had 2 professional development classes this morning for its staff. Our Jason Livia has more on this story.
Jefferson Elementary held 2 professional development classes Monday morning. The first opportunity was on coding and robotics. The class was ran by Dr. Todd Ensign, who works in the Education Resource Center of NASA's Katherine Johnson Independent Verification and Validation Facility.
Today, we're utilizing a Lego robotics platform to help teach young learners about coding while also learning about other science topics. So they're building and assembling robots, they're programming those robots, and they're developing, for example, an earthquake test platform. So they'll be learning about seismology while also doing coding and engineering.
The IV&V facility also has portable planetariums, rocket kits, soil analysis, and many more kits to loan out to schools to excite interest in STEM fields. Ashley Price, a 3rd grade math and science teacher at Jefferson Elementary, said she plans to use what she has learned for her current and future students.
So I can apply this to the more science side of my classroom, and we can get these kits in our classroom so that our students can have that hands-on learning experience. They're all about the technology, and this really lets them apply that to that.
The second class was on a program called TRAIN, which stands for Teacher Resources for Additional Impact Now. WVU Extension agents Gwen Crum and Jody Smith help the teachers learn more about addiction, how it impacts students, and how they can use resources and a variety of plans to support students and their families.
And we spent some time talking about the roles that the students who come from homes with addiction often take on, and how those families are impacted by addiction, and then how the teachers can help the families and have additional resources for themselves. And the families that they're working with.
The Assistant Principal of Curriculum and Instruction, Cynthia Oxender, says these trainings were a way to provide support to teachers and students in different fields. In Parkersburg, I'm Jason Livia with WTAP News. This is Home.